How do you chill off the pitch? What's your relaxation? Because you spend obviously a lot of time now on the test arena. What do you do to just relax and get away from it, away from the game?
Well, on tour, everyone else has got their iPads and computer, PlayStations, or whatever they got. I take the dartboard up. It attaches to the door. So if you ever go into any hotel rooms, there's lots of little marks in the door. You know that I've been there. So I play a lot of darts with Jimmy, and then when I get back to England, it's quite well known now, but I spend a lot of time on the farm. So it's a slight extreme, but it's a great way of life.
What is the strength? Here's a question from the audience. What is the strength or strengths of this revitalised England side? Where do you think, if you had to put your nail on one area, what is the strength of it? What's happened to change it from 2 or 3 years ago?
I think our skill level's improved immensely, and that is, you can talk about a lot of bullshit in terms of a lot of little things which make not that much difference. But generally, our skill level has gone through the roof, and especially with our bowlers, our bowling tech's the best in the world at the moment. I don't think there's any doubt it. South Africa probably run as close, but Jimmy, Broady, Chris Tremblay came in. They were the difference between the two sides. I felt in the Ashes, without a doubt. And our skill of the bowlers, I think, has made a difference. And as batters, we still got to catch up that little bit, because that's where we can make our most improvements aside. Is probably in the consistency of our scoring runs, and that's our next job.
We've got big runs in Australia. We're getting 500s and 600s, and it's a long time. Or I've got it on the odd occasion. It's a long time since we've done that consistently. And as is well known, big runs, weight of runs, gives you a real good chance of winning matches. So what you're saying there is it's to carry on with this consistency as opposed to finding it, because the art of and the way they want to play, the captain, the coach, with 6 batters and a keeper at 7 and 4 bowlers. Yes, it puts pressure on the bowlers, the bowler light, but if you get the big runs, then obviously that helps the cause.
Yeah, scoreboard pressure is huge, and if you get 400, 500, 600 consistently, you're always in the game. You very, very rarely lose games, or from there you can really only draw them. So that's our next big step, and we had before we went to the Ashes, that was a big, we had a lot of bowlers in the top 10 and no batters in the top 10. So that was an area which was a big area which we could definitely improve. So I think we did well in Australia, but as I said, that was consistency is the reason why we're number 3 or 4 in the side. Because on our day, no one can touch us. We can play some outstanding cricket, but we don't always back it up well. A bit like Headingley, a bit like Perth, and as I say, that's the next step.
The question that very often gets asked that when you're having a cricket Q&A, the sledging situation. How much verbal was there going off? There seemed to be a fair amount going off at Perth, and we responded to it. Was there a lot going on there, or was it very un-Australian-like throughout the tour?
No, you say it's like playing Australia. Of course, they're not going to be like that. Most of it is very, very crude and rude, and it's you see heated battles. There was the one which always makes me chuckle, and it happened throughout the whole series. It's probably not even that funny, but Jimmy just called Mike Hussey Dave Hussey every time he saw him, whether he saw him in the dressing room or anything. Constantly did it. I don't think he worked that well. He got 500 runs, but it still made me laugh when I whipped that.
There was no real.
Yeah, of course there was. I mean, you can see on the footage. You can see people going at each other, and you want that. But as I say, most of it is unrepeatable, and it's not quite as funny or as mad as Derek Randall.
Yeah, quite. He was mad. Right. Somebody wants to know, and I'm quite interested. You move on from your Test career to international one-day career. Where do you see that lying? And obviously, you're not in the side at the moment. You can ask me the question why, but we would do that in private, as you well know. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do to your game? This is a question that's been asked from the audience. Yeah, there we go. That's done in private, not in the public. Where do you think? What are you going to do to your one-day game to actually force your way into the one-day side?
We need to pay you some more money, I think. feels as when I did play my one-day cricket a few years ago, I was probably not ready to play. I find Test cricket a lot more suited to my style. But anyone who's watched over the last couple of years for Essex, I averaged 40 odd, just under 40 in 2020 cricket. I'm probably the same in one-day cricket at Essex. So I've got a good record now. I feel as if I could play. And it is disappointing missing out. Especially, I think the most disappointing thing missing out for me is I was in the form of my life, and I feel, the last couple of months, last month, I've just really sat around and haven't had the opportunity to show that, and that's what hurts. God, I know. Because when you're in form and you're doing something special, you feel as if you want to carry on and show people it. But obviously, I understand the reasons why I'm not in it, and. I can say, can't I? Because it's like, yeah, like...
They're all scared of it!
no, basically, and Geoff will say, basically Straussy and I have a very similar role at the top of the order. We're very similar players, and you can, as I said earlier in the interview, that we're very similar players, and to have both of us at top of the order is not the style that Andrew Strauss and Andy Flower want to go at the top of the order. So, unfortunately, as Straussy's captain, that obviously means that I miss out at the precise moment in time. So it is frustrating, as I said, especially when I was playing as well. But as I said, if I keep scoring the runs I had scored in the last 2 years for Essex, as I say, you have to be patient. I'm 26 years old. Hopefully, I've got a few more years left, so I can push my way in. And that is, people who know me know I like challenges. And the challenge with adapt my game to be able to play 2020 cricket, especially for Essex, and one-day cricket for England, is what's exciting me about trying to improve. And I feel as if I've done it. I feel as if I'm ready now to play one-day cricket and be successful. But as I say, you've got to bide your time. There's no point changing the team just before a World Cup because you've built 2 years for it. And I understand that, but hopefully I'll get given a chance to.
Question from, no, not say which table. Do you think we've got a chance in the World Cup and the subcontinent?
No, I do. Obviously, I think we are probably slight outsiders. I think we won't be in the top 3 or 4 of the betting. But what I believe is that middle 30 overs, us bowling, we're going to be extremely effective. Mike Yardley, Swanee, Colley bowling majority of those. I think we're going to be very difficult to score at. So that's the exciting bit. I think we can strangle teams quite a lot in that middle period. So to me, it's how we finish the innings as a bowling unit, and it's how we play those middle overs as a batting, is whether we'll win this World Cup. Because there's no doubt about it, that squad we've got there at the moment, under Andy Flower and Andy Strauss, has done some very special things. There's a strong core of those players that have done the same. So they're used to now winning these tournaments. Obviously won the 2020 World Cup, and now the Ashes twice, very similar. So we've got a really good chance, and they're the 2 areas I'm concerned about. Us finishing the innings as a bowling side and us batting in that middle period against the spin. If we can do that well, at 10-1 or 11-1 we're on, I think it's a good outside bet.
What kind of influence and what kind of influence towards your career was actually Bedford School? What brought you forward from Bedford School into where you are now? Because every station you've played at in the world of cricket, you've been successful at. Now, it obviously started at Bedford School, and you're going to tell me who the coach was there, and I cannot believe that we have got this chap in front of me here with the coach who was at Bedford School. Does people know who was coach at Bedford School? Cricket coach? Derek Mental Randall,
I'll tell you
what influence was he on your career? Because there's nothing similar between you and him, either batting, character-wise at all. So.
The only thing, well, a lot of things, but one of the funniest things, if anyone's been to Bedford School, we used to have assembly, whatever, twice a week, and it's all a massive glass front, you can see out onto the playing area, so it looks really good. And you'd be singing hymns or whatever you do at the school, so listen to headmaster talks and rubbish, and you'd see the first team square was there. And you'd see, he did it every single Monday and Thursday. He'd walk out, Derek Randall, hat on, chest pumping out, in his full whites, would get in the middle of the first team wicket, and then would play an innings for 25 minutes, running up and down, marking his guard, in front of everyone doing it, and he would just be oblivious to do it, and then toddle off his hat on backwards. You do it better than me do, but he's a nutter. He's a nutter. To be fair to Derek, he bent over backwards for me a lot of times. Obviously, had good school. It's rugby. It's rugby. That's what they do. She's our worst bet next time. Yeah, so like, he would at any opportunity
help you out.
To try and help you out, yeah. You know, I obviously did the music, so some of my time was taking up my music, but if I couldn't do the practice in the evening, I'd ask him to do it in the morning, and he'll be there at 8 o'clock in the morning feeding bowl machines. You guys are so wrong. And yeah, it just, and his enthusiasm rubbed off me.
What do you see in your own personal career now? You know, you've achieved. What have you got? Well, what have you achieved? No, the World Cups. We can't go there, obviously. You've achieved. There's only one person at your age scored more centuries in Test cricket in the history of the game. You overtook Sir Donald Bradman in Australia. There's only Sachin Tendulkar. Obviously, that's in a very, very big league. So that's where you stand at the moment. What do you see your future? How do you want your suit? If it was absolutely perfect, how would your future pan out from here?
Well, I've got my total goal. Something I want to achieve, but I've never said that publicly. So unfortunately, much I'm a Saints fan, I won't say it now. But what I like to achieve is, you know, if I now fail, I'm driven by fear of failure. That's basically what I'm driven by. If I now don't score any more runs or any more hundreds, people say it's just a one series wonder of this and that. So what's driving me on now is to back what I've just achieved up again and again and again. And it won't be 700 and whatever runs. That happens maybe once or twice in a career, and I'm very grateful it has done. The challenge for me is to try and get as close as that and to do it consistently over and over again. And I feel as if I can do that. I'm young enough to do that. I want to do it, and that's the challenge, and that's what I want to see my career do.
I think you'll do it. I think you'll do it. We talk privately, and he's very honest, he's very straight, and let me tell you, for a person who shouldn't have been going on the tour, he showed what he's capable of doing. To be in that league with Sir Donald Bradman and Sachin Tendulkar, you've got a very special batsman in your midst this evening, let me tell you. I think that'll do it. I think the honesty and your showing what you want to do in the future and what you've done in the past.
What happened at school.
And what happened at school, yeah, back to school. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice-Captain of England, hopefully in the very, very near future, involved in our one-day side as well. Alastair Cook, ladies and gentlemen.